What's up, Rockstars, and welcome to another unboxing. This is for Unsettled, and I am excited. This has been so long in the making, but the final version is finally here, and I get to show it to you guys. I cannot wait. There's some really cool art in here. There's a lot of standees. I know. Let's take a look. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. Now, as always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that this channel is possible. If you appreciate the independence that I have from the board game industry that I critique and review, there is a link down below to that, and I greatly appreciate your help. It means a lot. Additionally, there's a fundraiser going on right now. You can go in and check the link down there. There's a whole lot of thank you gifts, from just a small thank you from me to you for donating and supporting another year of 2022 of this channel. Super excited to just stream the giveaways for all that. It's gonna be really exciting. Okay, now with this, we already have some dice, and I'm gonna say I love a custom dice, brightly colored too, more colorful than I thought it would be. For some reason, I always felt this was a little dark. I don't know what gave me that idea. oh, I dropped a paper. And this is what is that? Quartermaster Logistics paper. This is the Arch Nemesis expansion. Look at the back of that. Glorious. I love two things about this. Now, we're going to go top down when I actually open this up. We'll see all the details. You guys know how I do things. But first of all, look, right side up. Right side up. It's not sideways. It's not upside down. It is perfect. Good job on that. And just the full art. Just, it just screams Kickstarter to me. That it, when I see the big list of minis and all this stuff, that just tells me this is like for retail, right? Is how I view that, because at the end of the day, if I backed it on Kickstarter, I know what I backed, right? But if I am going to a store, you pick it up, you look at the back of the box, you're trying to figure out, okay, what's this game all about? Maybe you looked it up on YouTube a little bit, but that's what that's for. But you don't need that if you backed it on Kickstarter. I love Kickstarter editions that do this. I really do. I wouldn't mind actually if retail games did that either. I don't know how many people are buying these kind of pretty novel, rather expensive board games on a whim based off the back of the box anyway. I don't know. That seems like a Monopoly thing to me. I've never liked that. So love that. All right, I'm going to have to stand up for this. This is big. Whoa. All right. Look at that, guys. Whew. All right, and again, right side up. Yes, please. And again, you don't have to, these are required, right? This is the CE and the warnings and all that. That is like legal crap. So I get that. I get it. But the full art, love it. I am so excited to see that in this. I didn't know it was going to have that, and that's amazing. I really like that. It just, I don't know, it just seems more professional to me. Big art here with the Uprising front and center, big white text. It looks really great with how dark it is here. Very designed well, very appealing looking box, especially the core one in my opinion. All right, let's go and swap down to the top down and take a look at these. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's see here. Looks like there's a nice little flap here. Just dive right in. All right. And I mean, it's incredible the size difference between the base game and the expansion. The expansion is nice and skinny because it doesn't have to hold any minis mostly. I mean, that's I think the biggest difference there, as opposed to just content or something like that. But we'll take a look at everything and see how everything's laid out and just kind of go from there. Looks like I have to... Oh, it's so heavy. Again, this does not close all the way, by the way, at least when it's wrapped. Though, by the time I punch out tokens and stuff like that, that might change. So, we'll take note of that. But for now, it's not quite closing all the way. Okay. Oh. Now, this was packaged quite well. However, the delivery guys were still the delivery guys. So, we got a little bit of crushed here, a little bit of crushed here, and actually a little bit of crushed up here, too. That being said, this corner here, immaculate. They were like, you know what? Top right, be nice. Otherwise, be a little rough. Not seeing too much more. There is a little bit of like a scuff mark on the side here. I don't know if you can quite see that here. And it's not really readily coming off. Maybe it just needs some cleaning up. Who knows? And that may even be from my shelf. All right. Coloration, by the way, I think is really good here. It's fairly muted, but there is some splashes of color that I think help it stand out from the mutedness. Okay, all right. Comes up pretty good, considering how tall it is. A lot of times these tall ones can be really hard to get out, but this one ended up being okay. Looking here, you can see some of that damage I pointed out, and actually on the bottom corners, even they got damaged a little bit as well. That being said, glue job here is fantastic. Really well done. Like there's not even a lip in the corner here. Very, very nice. So when you're, pulling things in and out, and I'll look in this one as well, you won't be hanging on those little side things. Okay, safety notice warnings. This game contains small parts. No, really. Thanks for that. Appreciate it, government. All right. Moving on from that, even right here, actually, see, there's actually a tiny bit of a little bit of damage right there. You can see. That being said, there's enough space here. Oh man, actually, even more on this one. Look at that. Yeah, wow. Okay, whoop, and we're popping out anyway. Well, perfect. That's what I need to do. Okay, so obviously these tend to come out pretty good. It seems. Front and back, you can kind of see the difference there. Get that all out of view there. Coloration, I think, looks quite nice. Again, it's fairly muted. It's not like it's a bright red. It's almost like a burgundy almost. And then this purple, I think, could be a little bit brighter. This is incredibly well lit. When you normally play games, you don't have this much light pumping onto you. This is to get a low ISO. You guys know how it is with filming. So the green shows up really good. This orange shows up pretty good. This purple, a little dark. I'm fine with it now, but when it's on the table and dimly, like even right now, that's pretty dark. I would have liked to see that a little bit brighter. And this white, I don't know what it signifies, but it's very much a stark contrast between that and this. This little blue outline here, I think helps with that. I like the full art, that the art is even here. That being said, it's broken up here to the point where this little bit here is not part of the same picture. It's a different background picture. Kind of an interesting thing. I'm fine with it. It's just interesting. They also did a black outline on this kind of orange, thorn vine thing, which actually looks great and definitely makes it seem like it's separate. But it's the only place they use that besides the text. So they don't use it along here or along here, anything like that. Again, I think it's fine. It definitely makes it pop out. That is for sure. But anyway, yeah, that's that. These, let's see, squeezing, there's almost nothing. What is this? This is an interesting, so see how, I wonder what they did here. Well, I'd love to know. I don't think it's a sealant, but as you can see, normally you get like cardboard, and this is still cardboard. You can see the little layer line here even a little bit, but it's dark. Let me see if I can't rough it up a little bit to show you guys. You can kind of maybe see it now there. It'll be interesting to see if that little rubbing ends up being more noticeable or less with how dark it is. But it's this nice, it's like a black core card, right? I don't know what it is. Kind of interesting. There's almost no give. Like squeezing this gives you almost nothing. Crisp lines on the back. Kind of, you can tell where the print went in because it's a little bit rounded on the top. The tag lines, or the tags, slightly noticeable. You can see a little bit of white here and here, but very few of them too. Like in this whole thing, there's really just the two. There's none here, none here, none here, none here. Now on the back here, I'm seeing a lot more wear. You see all that? I mean, it's just like coming off. And I don't know exactly why that is so much more than this. I'll take a look at some other ones. The punch out, though, I mean, is very, very nice. You can see if you're just very light on one side, you can kind of maybe get them to hang, but not by much. Now this one right here was hanging, but not by one of the tags, which was kind of interesting. And then they get little smaller ones as well. And I'll try punching from the other side, which is just fine. Okay, I think that is enough. Get another one here. Okay, and actually just looking here, you can see that white line even before you punch it out. It's like from the cutting, it got a little bit of that kind of white there. And as you can see, it just kind of flakes off. Do you see that? And so as you play the game, right, you'll be able to tell a well-played game of this versus a non-well-played game based off of that. Because as you pick up these tiles, your fingers are going to naturally do that a little bit, as you can see. And that's just going to keep... Wow, that is insane. My goodness. Well, that's unfortunate because everything else about this I think is great. Love the splash of color there, by the way. So yeah, these look really nice otherwise. It is kind of interesting how muted it is. Like even this is this is so muted. Which is, I mean, it's a design choice. That's fine. I'm okay with that. It's just interesting. Yeah, that back part though, that's a bummer. I wonder what they did different. These small ones have the same issue, by the way. I mean, it's like all of them. They're going to have a little white ring around it. You're going to get this little kind of flaky stuff as you play the game. Which happens with the best of games over time. But ideally it's not after like a first playthrough. And that's what it looks like that is there. You get a ton of these, by the way, which is nice. I'm seeing unique art on all of these, which is awesome. Really like seeing that. And you have like it's numbered too, so you can kind of tell if there's maybe something that's not, if there's something missing or whatever. I like this color too. It's interesting that there's like 2 versions of green, or maybe even 3. I can't remember if there was a darker one or not. All right, so now with all that out, we're flat, by the way. But now we have the actual game board. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna move these on top of here. We're gonna make sure we got enough space. I'm gonna throw some stuff on the ground. This is how I operate. It tends to be. All right, and we're just gonna put this right beside me off camera so I can fold this out. Okay, move this. All right, let's do. Oh, okay. All right, we got 2 here. All right. Here is. Come on. There we go. And the main board here. Now, one thing to note. So we can't zoom out anymore. I cannot. There you go. Now you can see the whole thing. So one thing to kind of note here is that you have like the terrain, skeleton and garrison, and then terrain, skeleton and garrison. So on both sides of the table, as long as you're sitting here and here, not here and here, have these kind of keys to everything, which is kind of nice. The feel of this is quite nice. It's fairly skinny, but it works. There is a little bit of a ding right here. You can kind of see the light reflection there, just from the shipping, because everything is so tight in the box there. Coloration, again, fairly muted, but this blue here, this kind of bright blue, maybe a hint of green in there, I think looks quite nice. There is some stuff stuck on there, but that's all right. Okay, we got the Screaming Sea. One interesting thing, by the way, is this is facing me, and then this is facing that way, and then this is facing that way. So it's like into 3s there, right? So you can see angled that way, and then straight down, which is, I think, kind of nice, actually. You can see where you put the cards and what everything does, which is all quite nice. I think, pretty happy with all that. And then on the back here, you can see it's just kind of a more simple glue job but it's done quite well. But it looks of it with some nice overlaps here. So it's glued. This top part is glued here and here, and then this black sealant over that is over both of those, which is nice to see. You try like meet it, you know, bare minimum or something like that. All right, now we have another board here. We have several boards here. Okay, all right. We have the Imperial Graveyard and the Chaos Graveyard with their horde decks here, and a lot of space here. Now this art is amazing, but I do hope this is used somewhere. So we will check that. I'll be on the lookout for that. I'm always on the lookout on how to save table space if I can. You can't always. I mean, at the end of the day, we're playing a game, and a lot of times that just takes up a lot of room. Okay, so we have a chapter track refresh phase with a whole bunch of information there. That is a lot. That being said, at least it's there, so you don't have to drag out the rule book for it. We have the quest deck with quests, and then the discard. And chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you have stuff facing this way as well. If empty, draw one item. That's interesting. I dig that. Market discard, market deck. Okay, very cool. I like that everything has a spot. That is nice. Okay, now one thing, before I do this anymore, I do want to note, look at this. You ready? Uh-oh. Look at that, down the whole side. Now, I want to have to recheck the footage to see what happened there, but that seems pretty bad. And in fact, I don't even know, like there's like this weird, like even tape here and stuff, but it is like, man, like either I didn't notice, like there's no way I just did that. Look at that. My goodness, they were mean to this. Now this is obviously a shipping thing, and shipping is shipping, but that's quite the break. I get that a lot from my games where my daughter, especially my youngest, likes to pull out the games and look at them, and she'll pull them out like this, and then just over time, I think it's kind of done that. Now, this is also glue here. You can kind of see where it also kind of split here. This is kind of where the glue, I don't know if it just, if either the glue stopped or, see the thing is this was obviously banged up. Like this is there's a like a crease right here, and there's a ding right here, and a ding. Like this just got banged up is really the thing, I think, where we're at with this. Just the poor box. That's so abused. I guess it needed more padding and kinder hands. One or both, or whichever you can get. This feels nice. I don't know what this is, but I like it. It's some kind of like cardstock. It's like a big old card, really. And again, you can see a little bit of that white, but this isn't flaking like the rest. So it's just from the cut, which is much more okay there. So the combat sequence here with the combat round, and like this, like I guess this then goes to here, and then it goes to it's a complex game. And then placing an activation, place a legion, activate a legion, place garrisons. I really like the page numbers here. That's super nice to have. I really dig that. That is helpful. Very nice to see that. Very, very nice. Almost would have been nice to put like, okay, here's the combat sequence in the rulebook too. But in fact, we haven't even hit the rulebook yet. We'll get there. And then I think the same exact thing. So 2 player aids here, front and back. Quite nice. Look at the rulebook. I love this rulebook for a couple reasons. First of all, it's really robust. Like it's not like, it's like a legit paper, and even this is really nice. It's got the spiral ring, and it's not some big old floppy thing. Like this is like very nice. What's nice is you can have this on the table if you want, and it's not taking up a huge amount of room. Those rule books that try to like be skinnier, but then like I hate that. Now in the rings, there are a little lopsided. You can kind of see these two are bigger for whatever reason. They just are. But it shouldn't pose a problem. I really like the size of this though, because again, you don't need the rule book after you play like 12 times. Or at least you shouldn't. But for those first few times, which are crucial to be enjoyable game sessions, you want the rule book to be able to be out on the table, ready to be referenced if needed. And ideally, it's not taking up half the table. I love the size of this. I really do. And then on the back, look at that. In fact, it's like the same size. Yeah? So you can have this too, icons and cards. Now, It almost would have been nice to, because there's only one of these, to maybe just have this as another one of these in case you need it. But perhaps not. Either way, it has all the different icons and what's in each one and how it works and the hex key and stuff like that. And again, page numbers, super helpful. So you can quickly reference the page it needs. And, oh my gosh, look at this, an index. Now, two things here. This is in alphabetical order with headings, which is very nice, very easy to find. However, I'm only seeing single page listings here, and ideally an index lists all of them. So that if for instance, if I want to talk about, let's say, combat, I'm going to assume you mentioned combat on more than just a single page of 32. I would assume that combat is mentioned in quite a few pages, to be honest. And so, while it's nice to go to page 32 to find the combat, but that's just the header. Oh man, this better not just be headers. It shouldn't be bolts 34. Let's see. There's no way that's just headers. That'd be silly. That would be silly. Okay, good. Bolts, shields. I mean, maybe, I don't know. It might just be... the subheadings, either way, which I think might be what this is. Ideally, it lists everywhere combat is. So if there's an example of combat, right, like list 34, then so I know, hey, there's what's nice about that is you know when you've read everything, or if it doesn't quite answer, like, oh man, I just don't get it. Now, there's nothing telling me, ideally I remember, but there's nothing telling me there's an example on page 34 about combat. But if combat listed, also page 34, I would look there. And, there might be some combat over here, right? When it's like, maybe it's like when placing Nemesis units, you can't place them in an area with combat. And maybe that's helpful there. So, anyway, just close. This is close. I'll give them a C+. Maybe even a B-, because you at least have an index here and it's alphabetical. And you get a little bit of bonus points from the nice letter headers, too. That's super helpful. But ideally, multiple pages are listed. Okay, so QR code here, that's interesting. It almost would have been nice to include QR codes throughout. I've seen a few rulebooks do that, and it's always really sweet when they do. That's definitely an above and beyond thing, though, so I'm not going to count anything against that. That is for sure. But let's go ahead and now go to the beginning. Okay, so we have here, look, Combat 34. Wait a second. wait a second. Color me confused. Combat 32. Combat 34. I think it was 32, wasn't it? Oh man. Alright, let's see here. 32. Combat. So they got the headers wrong in the beginning. Yeah, 34 is just like, it's like mid conversation here. Okay, so that's wrong. That should be 32. Scoring phase. So yeah, don't pay attention to these. These are, obviously we're not updated for the final layout. So as they're doing some UI and UX, and they got a graphic designer and a technical writer, whoever's putting this together, this needs to get updated at the very end of everything so that the numbers are right. Because the scoring phase is not 32, that's combat. So the scoring phase is probably 31 or 30, perhaps even. Anyway. Introduction and objective. I like having this right up front. I really do. I really appreciate being able to get a high level view. In other words, tell me what my objective is. What am I doing here? And then dive into everything. Okay, now this is a list of components, and I love seeing both the image, the count, and the name. All of those together is so ideal for me. I will, as I'm reading this, refer back to here. Okay, they just mentioned feat cards. What the heck are feat cards? And I'll go back here. Feat cards are this. Because as you can tell, I might get confused and think the hero cards are the feat cards, or vice versa. Or maybe I know these, but I don't remember what they're called. Well, that helps having that. And even this, it says one for each hero. That's, again, just added information. Super useful. Really dig that. Setup. Okay, so setup is kind of nice. Hopefully they have like a top level view. They do right here, which is nice. So it looks at the map and the reserve. Prepare your player area, and then build the map like that. 2 factions, 3 factions, 4 factions. Helpful. And then last steps: the game length and difficulty, Components. Oh, this is kind of easy, normal, nightmare, and apocalyptic difficulty settings. That's super nice. I dig that. And now game concepts. So before we even get into anything, we're not learning about this is exactly how many cards you do here, and this is exactly how your standee faces this way, and like none of that kind of junk. It's just like high level, we're working with chapters and phases. High level, there are factions and units. High level, here are the heroes, here are the actions, here are the hexes, here are the nemesis. This is what combat's kind of like. I love this high level stuff. Like give me broad strokes and then fill in those strokes with detail as we kind of dive into things. Really, really helpful. Gives context. I like the layout of this rulebook. I like the icons and lots of numbers and a good use of headers and even the call out boxes and like there were like whole sections instead of a call out box. Coloration is also used quite nicely. Yeah, just really, really good. It looks like it's well laid out. Again, a review will have to tell you exactly how good it is. But from what I'm seeing, this looks nice. Scoring phase was 30, not 32. So yeah, they're just a little off on that. By 2 almost. It's almost like they weren't counting this being on page 2. Anyway, okay, that's the rule book. Moving on from that, let's go ahead and take a look at this. We got some more tokens here. I'm not going to bother. Maybe this funny looking one here just because it's different. Looks like I punched out just fine. This is what the chapter header or something. Now we have a little bit of a ding here somehow. Hopefully, let's see. Is it good here? Looks like this is immaculate. So that's good. Good deal. Looks nice. Great shape. Again, tags are minimal. This is nice. Okay, so let's see. I already put that up down there, right? Okay. All right, let's put that with the rest of them. Okay. And no, wait. I lied. I'm going to keep it up here because this is like, there's a little section there for it. Okay, so we're going to move this over here. Take a look at this. And here, I think, are your player areas, right? So this is, okay, cool. Let's flip them over. Actually, first, before I do anything, it looks a little bent to me. Let's see. I think so. So, yep. So if you flip it over this way, you're going to see, I'm going to hold it just like that. So this gap here is because this is bent now this way, and then when you flip it over, it's now bent this way. So you have a little bit of gap there. So these are a little bent, and it's because they're so long, I think is kind of the thing. Hopefully they flatten out. It's always kind of hard with something this thick. So, but we'll see. Either way, I might have already done it because it seems to be laying down pretty flat now, at least. That's good. All right, so here are the different factions, as you can see. Great art. Each one is so different thematically, like stylistically, that I really appreciate. Society, way of life, leader type, survivors. That's kind of interesting. And then, of course, you have a whole boatload of information here with the custom units right there with the dice and all that. So super cool to see all the different like societies in there. Okay, now, interesting. This reminds me of Super Fantasy Brawl. So it's like a big old place to put your finger in by the looks of it. They do kind of overlap a little bit because of this little lip on the bottom. But each faction has their own here. So we're just going to pick one. We'll pick the blue. No, red. Answer that for myself. We're going to do red. Okay. Is this game trays? No, if it was game trays, it would have said game trays everywhere on it, wouldn't it? And how that works. Which I'm actually fine with it not being game trays. Kind of interesting that this is here like this. I guess it's to maybe help hold it, perhaps? Or just to help store stuff, because otherwise it's just kind of extra padding. Let's go ahead and take this off. Looks like... Aha. Very nice. Okay, so there's no like clip or anything like that, but it is pretty snug on there. Okay, so it looks like here, zoom in a little bit. Looks like here are the stands. I didn't know the stands were colored too. That's nice. I'm gonna get a bigger one here. Let's take one of these. there he is. Okay. All right, now let's take a look at how that is. Now, right now you can see there is a little bit of reflection. You won't really have to worry about this too much, I don't think. Again, very bright lights are kind of all around this table right now. So I can't comment on that. I guess if it is an issue where I can't even tell what I'm looking at because it's all blinding me during gameplay, I'll let you guys know, of course. You do have these little kind of notches here. It sits fairly flush. However, there is still a little bit of a gap from what I can see. It doesn't quite go all the way in. But I've pushed down about as much as possible, which is, it's fine, but there's a little bit of a gap there. So it's not quite level. I actually put a little bit of a base there, which is nice because this is what we're used to seeing, right? And so I kind of actually dig the base, but they didn't have to. They could have done anything. The outline and the shape is actually pretty well done. It follows the shape quite closely. So there's a little bit of a nub here because there's the tuft there, right? Or around the feathers, right? You kind of get this little bit here, and then it goes, and actually is even shaped based off the hand shape and the electricity coming out, or like that little divot there makes a little divot there, right? So it follows a shape pretty close, and it's very even, I think, throughout it, and nothing looks super fat here. Like you get a little close here, but it's because of the electricity there. It also would have been nice maybe to get rid of the tiny little bit of electricity here and really put that in there, but it's fine. Art-wise, I think it looks great. I like that. There is a little bit, and let me get a little bit closer here so you can see, a little bit of little clear plastic flash from the creation of this plastic here, the two layers, right? You can kind of see that line here. That line is the layer. And in between that, sometimes you'll get a little bit of plastic. It looked like it was just in this little corner here. For the most part, it's not actually around the mini too much. There is, I think it may have just been left there. Maybe it just needs a wipe down, perhaps. Oh, there's a little bit more in the clip there. So, yeah, you might want to rub these just to get that little bit off. You can still see a little bit reflecting right here. But otherwise, I think it looks pretty darn good. The name, they flip it, right? So that the D is on either side, so that, it reads right, which is nice. And it does have the name there, but otherwise, no other information. So it's just a standee other than that. And of course, when you deal with standees, some people, sometimes you'll see them like that. So just as an FYI there's no name like on here that you can kind of always read. But it also means setup is pretty quick because you can just put this on and then, go about your business. And it looks like coming out pretty easily, going back in, right, coming out. Like if this is nice and secure each time, I don't feel it really good this is really good plastic. So it's not going to really wear down anytime soon. All right, so that's that. So let's see, just get that in there and that in here. I feel almost like this is perhaps too big for what you're still like. There just seems to be like there's a lot of I could actually fit this in here just fine. Oh, look, you put your feed cards in here. They just don't have them in there yet. Okay. Oh, that makes a little bit more sense. I was like, why is this? What is this in? Faction components. Okay. I feel a bit better then, because, yeah, they just don't have the cards in there. Like this feels like wasted space. Okay, so there's all of those. I'm not going to deal with the other ones here. Let's go and keep looking here. Looks like there's a well for dice here that isn't used, and this looks like it can hold, because there's like a big difference here, right? So it looks like it can hold higher stuff. So we'll take a look first. Take a look at this. Now, this is definitely giving me Super Fantasy Brawl vibes, where it's like every little thing is compartmentalized, which is partly cool, but also partly not. Like at some point, I'm fine with just having two big trays and having maybe this needs to be on the table, and maybe it'll help out that way. If it doesn't need to be on the table, then I feel like it's excessive. So we will see. That being said, these are angled, like you could grab stuff out of here quite good. It's there's no hard edges there, which is kind of nice. Okay, let's keep with the red theme here. take a look at this because there are little minis here. It's just kind of a single thing. You can see where the runner was, the little plastic runner, and the sprue was right here, or the mold, or however they ended up making this. 3 little dots are kind of interesting, some swirls. All textured, even the side, which is kind of nice. I dig that. I'm not really seeing readily. Okay, so the mold line is right here, and just kind of goes. I can also see it here and here. I can't really see it. Oh, that's right there on that side too. The cracks on here are actually sufficient. Like if you wanted to paint it, a wash would show up on that, I feel. I think these are like tints and stuff. It would have been nice to have these a different color. A quick paint job, I think, would really make this more obvious. Like it almost looks like one solid like crown or something like that, as opposed to a town on here. I think just a little bit of brown here, a little bit of, tan here, or, whatever, I think would go a long way to selling that. But either way, kind of cute. I like it. And it's like solid. Like there's no hollow, there's no indent on here. That is just solid. Now let's take a look at yellow. Is a really bad color typically for detail. Like it's just hard to see the detail because it's so bright. I mean, I guess I would agree. It's just a little bit harder to tell, right? Because it's just brighter. These light colored, anytime you're coloring minis, if you can avoid a bright yellow like that, bright orange, something like that, typically good. The bags, by the way, do have a little hole in there so they don't stuff up with air, which is kind of nice. That being said, I'm assuming this can really just come out of the bag and go in like that. Like, I don't think it needs a bag at all. All right, there we go. There. Yeah, see, he needs a bag. This is a little bit like warped slightly just from being in the bag because it was like bunched up, but whatever. Okay, we'll move that. Hopefully I'll be able to fit this back in and know what's going on. So here's just an empty one. And then we have this big old lid for... Oh, come on. If there's nothing else under this, there is nothing else under this. I'm going to leave this in just to help support this corner here. And while I'm at it, I do like the black trays. I very much prefer those over the clear ones. They seem to be pretty, like they're not crinkly or anything like that, which is nice. We got some gems. I'm not going to show off the gems. We've seen these a million times. They are like the Conan ones. They're not like cubes. They're the little kind of diamond gem stuff. Okay, we got some cards. Let's take a look at some cards here. Now this, I think, will eventually go in each individual faction or race or whatever they're calling them. Okay, let's see here. Got a whole bunch of them. These are very stiff cards. Look at that. They're like broke up like in little sections there, which is kind of, I wonder if that's like an actual section. No. That would have been pretty wild. Okay. These are very interesting feeling. Super smooth. Like they feel really smooth. Very clean cut all around. Which is nice. Taking just one, very stiff. Like to the point where it's actually kind of bad. Like it's really nice as long as you don't bend them, but I feel like it's going to crease. It's that stiff. It doesn't really like necessarily pop back to its original shape. It'll stay kind of curved by the looks of it. But yeah, if I do anything more than that, I feel like it's going to crease. In fact, even then, this is now like jacked up. So you're welcome for doing that. It hurts me. But yeah, no, be careful with these for sure. If you could get some sleeves, I would recommend them. They're really rigid. Like they feel nice. They feel great. And like there's no like coloration issue. There's no like white edge thing there, which is very nice. It feels nice and clean on the side. Very easy to read. Even with this, because they have actually a little bit of black around it, which is nice. Tiny little bit of art on the top, and very clear on the back, based off of faction or whatever it is. Either way, yeah, I would probably suggest sleeves on that. For now, I'm gonna leave them here. But yes, so this is where you'd put the hexes, right? So they would go in like this, right? There's the angle like that. And when you do that, that'll get rid of all those top ones, and it'll close perfectly flat after that. I don't even know what's supposed to go in there per se. But let's see what we got here. We got big old thick pieces of wood by the looks of it. These are really thick. Wow. Really, really thick. My goodness. My goodness. All right, this is pretty hefty, which just means it's easy to place and easy to put down and pick up, and feels quite nice. It's not really heavy, right? It's not that kind of wood. It never is. Coloration looks good all the way around. This seems fairly centered, which is nice. I'm glad to see that. Sometimes they'll seem a little off center there. No real big noticeable cuts, like line cuts. You can see a little bit of a line there, a little bit of a line there, just from the blade going in, and irregularities there. Very, very minimal. I think overall this looks quite nice. You can see the grain of the wood when you tilt it like that, which I'm fine with because it makes you know it's a real wood, which is kind of nice. And it doesn't seem too distracting. Like it's bad enough to where it's not gonna. Sometimes the shine might mess up that, but it looks good. And shoot, it looks like they have non-white. Now, white on yellow is kind of iffy. And look. So this is what I was talking about. Sometimes it can be a little off center. So see how this is not centered. There's a lot more here than there is there. So this is a little bit to the left. It should be slightly to the right. I think top down is probably pretty good. Maybe slightly higher, but yeah. So that's just happening to give. So you can see centered, not centered, right? It looks like there's some black as well. Now, why this one is black? So white, and then we got a few black as well. Okay, so here are the white. So we got 3 white gems, a purple, and then a black instead of white skull that I think is it's slightly off. There's a little bit more spacing here than here, but it's pretty darn close. And these skinny lines did end up really, really well. Like right here, it gets pretty skinny, but I think overall that looks great. I'm actually fine with that. So there's maybe a little bit of ink that smudged. Maybe it wasn't quite dry yet when they put it in. And then this one, again, obviously because it's too bright, so they had to make it black instead of white. Hopefully that's okay. I would have almost preferred them to pick a different color that wasn't so bright, so all of them could be white. But just because that one black one kind of bothers me. But whatever. Yeah, so it's hit or miss on that one. I do like the size of them, though. Really do like the size. Okay. Now, finally, we have some dice and some big cards. Let's look at dice and then big cards. Lots of dice. Okay, so a few things here. First of all, these are not super rounded, which I actually appreciate a lot more. I like that. When they're really rounded on the corners, it makes them roll more, but it's also almost impossible to make that perfect. So the more crisp, hard line you have, the better. If you go to like a casino, they'll always have these really crisp lines on the side, and that's because that makes it to where each side is perfectly like balanced, right? Because it's a nice clean cut there. Any kind of variance in here technically adds a little bit of not even randomness, right? So when you feel like you have a bad die, more often than not in board games, you actually do have a bad die. Most board game die are bad. These, I think, are a little bit better just because they don't have that, right? They are a little bit more square. I actually appreciate that. It doesn't roll as much. Maybe it doesn't quite feel as good, but the results should be a little bit more consistent. That being said, it's still not going to be quite good just because there is a blank here and then these custom, sizes and stuff like that. It's just not going to, the weight is going to be a little bit off, pretty minimal. I'm not too concerned about that, though. You got to watch out for those blanks. So either way, I like the customness of it. Oh, the same with like marbled die, right? So a solid one like this, solid color, typically better than something with swirls and stuff in it, because that can change weight distribution as well. I'm not going to pour these in salt or anything to check. Paint inside looks pretty good, at least on this one. I'll check a few more. So on this one, it's black, and I'm going to zoom up a little bit more here. As you can see, there is a little, oh, never mind. It just comes right out. It looks like a false alarm there. Just needs a little bit of clean out, maybe. Anyway, so here's the black in here. And again, actually, I think it's pretty darn good. There's a little bit missing right there. You can see that's pretty minimal, although it looks like it's scratching out more and more. One thing kind of interesting. So this one's facing that way. That one's facing that way. That one's facing that way. And that one's facing that way. I don't know why they did that. It bothers me a little bit, but maybe that's on purpose. And two blinks on that. All right, take a look here. So on this one, could have used a little bit more white. You can see a little bit of the blue throughout on pretty much all of these. Just needed a little bit more white, I feel. Like this is solid. This looks great, I think. Like that looks awesome. But then on these, there's a little bit of blue that's just kind of showing through. Just a little bit. Some smaller ones here. We got 3 of them here. The nose is kind of cute. However, notice this one has a different nose. It didn't get all the black in there, which is fine. It's just funny. It actually works. Yeah, okay, so a little bit of chipped here as well, right? You can kind of see the line isn't so crisp there. Yeah, overall I'm happy with these. There's a lot here, and I think these are looking pretty good, I would say. So, about what I would expect from most board game dice. And there's a lot of them. A lot of custom, a lot of different colors, a lot of colors that are abnormal. You don't normally get sky blue and this kind of purple in there. So, kind of nice to get that. It's a little bit different. Okay. Look at these big cards, and then we are done with that. We can look at the expansion, and we've seen everything there is for this. So let's see here. Where is... Hopefully there's a little starter thing. I think I see the end. Which might also be the... Oh, wait, here we go. Okay, I got it. I do appreciate this. It does make it nice and safe to open, which is nice until... until I ruin it. I still do appreciate it, though. I really do. It's better than trying to fuss with a knife around this, right? All right, there we are. There we are. Okay, right now, the exact same as the little ones. They're very rigid. I mean, they feel great. That's what's so funny. Like, they feel nice. I like it. Like, it doesn't... It barely feels like a card. It feels like you know, a lot of cards feel kind of plasticky. This feels like a very quality print, if that makes sense. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not even going to bend these. But most overlooked rules. Oh, interesting. Look at that. That's fascinating. So this is... I have a few opinions about this. So it's great to offer this, kind of like an FAQ on the Kickstarter, right? But at the same time, I feel like if you know it's a frequently asked question, you should work to make it to where it's not asked so much. Wow, I can't even speak. Right? So it's like everything in the FAQ, it should really almost probably just be on the main page. So if these are really overlooked, perhaps they need a call box, perhaps, whatever. Chaos and the Empire are enemies. Wait, what? That being said, and all joking aside, it's very nice to print something like that. And it shows that it's been play tested because they know here's what people tend to ask, or here's what people tend to forget. So here it is. This reminds me of like a multiplication chart. Dice distributions. This shows that it's barely noticeable, that black. But it shows what's on each of the sides. That's very nice to know. So you can kind of judge real quick on, okay, which one has, the red gives me a lightning bolt, which I appreciate, and a double hit. So those are both increases. That's kind of nice. When it comes to the blue, if you're asking for shield, well, that's actually even. They all have 2 out of 6 on the shields, so 1/3 chance there. Cool shield bolt, very cool. I dig that. So you get 4 of those. Oh man, these look great. The kind of the fade out and then being able to read that looks super nice. And then on the back, it just shows kind of what the chapter is and everything, so you can organize it all. These look great. They really do. Certainly a lot of information, but that's why they're bigger, I feel, too. Like, this wouldn't work on a small card. These big cards, they look great. They feel really nice. Like, I can't get over that. Just don't shuffle. Like, hopefully there's not a lot of shuffling. If there is, I'm pile shuffling. That's what I'm doing. All right, guys, that is the core box. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the expansion. I lied. I still have this. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. So we got a few more standees and stuff here. Kind of interesting that they're down there. Let's see. Then what else do we got? We got some little rooks. And some tentacles. And some fences. And some, oh man, we got a whole bunch of stuff here. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then these guys as well. So 2 more in the bottom there. Kind of interesting. Let's go ahead. I want to look at these. Because they got gold. Okay, this looks like a little outpost kind of thing. We're going to zoom in a little bit so we can kind of see this maybe a little bit better for you guys. There you go. Yeah. No, this looks nice. It's got 2 different purples. Kind of a more pink and then a more plum-like purple and then gold. So 3 colors on this, which is quite impressive. You can tell that the gold is painted over purple just by a little bit. Yeah, it looks nice. With the hole there and everything. A little tiny pore spout there, but otherwise, those look cool. I dig that. That looks nice. And those go along with these. There we are, which again, same 2 color, pink, purple, kind of, I guess 2, I'd call them 2 purples, but I'm also slightly colorblind, so perhaps you guys know better than me. Certainly don't know the name of it. And then we have the bigger ones here. So we got like 3 of these. This is like 1 house, 2 house, 3 houses in a hotel in Monopoly. That's what we're doing here. Okay, so this has like this opening here. We can see the little pebbles from the courtyard. Super cool that it has that. All the shingles look nice. The little kind of I don't know what these things are, but the little post things here look nice. The stairs look good. The wall looks good. These are nice. These are actually quite good. And again, it's even like a lip here. So you can see the wall, but it's still in there. So it just makes it look a lot better than if it was straight down like that. There we go. Okay. So, nope, I don't think it goes on like this. I mean, it might, maybe. It'd be kind of cool if it did. Right? Maybe it does. Maybe it's supposed to. If it does, it just kind of sits there. It doesn't really lock in. I can tell you that much. But either way, these are nice. Okay. So we're going to move on from that. These brown ones and the tentacles, and then we're done. And then we're actually done with the core box. Okay, let's look at these tentacle. Is this a clip? It looks like it's a clip that you put on probably your player board, so it'll like clip on like that and track your how tentacly you are, your level of Cthulhu. Okay, and then we got some defenses here. These are little like wooden fences, posts or whatever, wooden wall. The pore spout here, the like runner here, very noticeable. And part of that may just be the color and a little bit of a mold line there, but otherwise, oh man, it'd be a cool ring too, huh? There you go. Maybe not. I like the height difference there. I like the little bit of a walkway on the back. That looks really smart. And the banding here looks good too. Overall, quite nice. And then finally, we have the tower. Alright, oh, he's so cute, so tiny. So he's got like a little firelit. These would actually look pretty cool painted if somebody painted these. And you know, again, I wouldn't want it brown, so that's kind of the hard part, is the game board colors versus what you'd actually paint it as. Again, the runner spout is pretty noticeable there, but the flame is actually quite well detailed. In fact, all of this looks pretty darn crisp. You even have, like, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, but you can see the skull there. Very cool to see the skull on the kind of the tabard that's hanging in front of the entrance there like that. Like, it just looks really nice. I dig it. Looks cool. Okay, now let's get to the expansion. What do you say? Alright, now we have the Uprising, the Arch Nemesis expansion. Sounds exciting. Come on. Oh, man, this is like thick. Like that, and I think I have a dull knife. I think combined, that creates a problem. Alright. Go ahead and... there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. And again, just like the other one, dented here pretty badly on both sides. However, I think the other corners fared better, thankfully. Okay, there's that symbol, yeah. Okay, safety notice, goodbye. Okay, we got more Lesser Omen of the Empress. That sounds exciting. So this is this slid around a little bit, but we'll punch those out and put those in either way. Okay, then we have the Uprising Rulebook, which is actually pretty thick. See, does it have... It doesn't even have an index like the other one. So hopefully it's pretty... Oh, hold on, wait, this is... oh, man, look at the art here. Ooh, 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 oof. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, that's good. Okay. Calm down, everybody. Love the maps and laid in here. That's cool. That's cool. Last Emperor, the backstory. Expansion factions. So this is very small rulebook wise. A lot of this is actually just the whole game itself. So there's some more stuff there. So that's cool. Dig that. Alright, then we got 3 new factions. Super cool. 4 new factions. Love it. Freaking turtle people. Heck yeah. Nice, nice. Okay. Very cool. Alright. And let's see. I think we've already looked at these. I think the only thing to note here... Like, I'm not going to look at the art and all that kind of stuff. You guys know how good the art is, isn't it? Now, this lip thing here is bad. See, like, to lift this out, it's because it's underneath all the other 2. That's unfortunate. This lip thing, not a good idea. That's difficult. Anyway, you can kind of see how the cards can... Oh, no, these are the big cards, huh? Oh, man, what do they got? They got little summons here or something? What is this? Storm... Oh, man, these look so... I love the style of all this. The King of Plagues. Love it. That's freaking sweet. The freaking Kraken. Heck, freaking yeah. So, these cards would go in, I believe, the core box. But you can store them here. There is a spot here where it's all completely flat here. So it works. But I think you probably just want to put this in the core box. But here you can kind of see. Oh, heck yeah. These are cool. These are bent as well. So you kind of see, you can see the flare up here actually. So I'll try and flatten these out perhaps a little bit. But oh my gosh. Harvester. Draculich the Empress. Zero the Vagabond. Oh, these are cool. I like it. I'm a fan. Cool. Alright. Looks awesome. Put these back in there, I suppose, for now. And that's it for the expansions. Not a whole lot to look at. Besides... yeah, no, I don't like them in there. That's what got them bent in the first place. I don't want these. I think I would have been fine with a tray without having them separate. Like just have a one big storage thing with all the spots for the card and all that. I don't need a separate thing for each one. You can separate it within the main one. My opinion. Not that anybody asked for it. I provide that freely. Whether you want it or not. All right. Yeah, because this will have to go in there too. I bet I can just shove that in there for now. Cool. Perfect. All right. I got to organize these into the core box, punch everything out. But that's it for me. Guys, this has been a blast. What a pretty looking game. Very, very pretty. So yeah, I'll have to start playing this. I'll let you guys know in a review, so stay tuned for that. Be sure to subscribe if you're interested in that, so you're actually notified when I do. Can't wait to tell you guys what I think. Super excited for this. So this was Uprising, and if there's a relevant link I need to put down below, it'll be down below in the description, of course, right next to the like button, right next to the subscribe button, and kind of close to that Patreon link. So anyway, take care, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, guys.